Hello, everybody. It's Campbell from gijoe Customs and Collections with the Cobra Pit, and our guest today, Tony from Analog Toys. Thank you so much for turning up, mate, especially on Father's Day. That means a lot to both of us. We're all dads here.
Yep. Happy Father's Day, everyone's out there.
Yeah, pleasure to be here, guys.
No worries. We're going to talk about like we said in before, we're going to talk about a lot of Action Man, the Palitoy's Action Man back in the 60s and 1984, and maybe a touch of gijoes and anything else that comes up. But yeah, first of all, and I think I've sort of watched a couple of Tony's videos this morning, and one of the things that touched me was that when you were still in England, Tony, that your dad sort of introduced you to Action Man. I want to hear a little bit more about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, look, growing up as a kid, I think I started out with, when I got out of like toddler toys, the first thing I really played with was Fisher-Price Adventure People. I had some Star Wars stuff. But one of the most vivid memories of mine from childhood is being around 4 or 5 years old. And my dad gave me an Action Man basic soldier, British soldier in the black tankers beret. And I was just captivated by this thing. And all I ever wanted to do from that point on was play with and collect Action Man. And yeah, it all started from a gift from my dad. And I was lucky I had an older brother who he had a lot of Action Man stuff that he'd grown out of playing with. So they got handed down to me, and I ended up with quite a little collection, and it's still to this day, it's my favorite toy line, and it's what I enjoy collecting more than anything else. So,
yeah, Campbell and I, when we were younger, we had gijoes, but we did actually had the Action Man figures that you're talking about. Yeah, Campbell's got a bit of difficulty. Been drinking that bottle for a long period of time, so he probably need to go get another one. But we had our Action Man. I must admit, I wish I kept them actually, because they were actually awesome. They were awesome at the time. The hair, the thing that sticks out the most, let's get rid of this so I can see, was they had the fuzzy hair. It was like that hair, but the action figures these days they got is plastic here. Ones that I remember now. But no, that's actually quite cool how you got into it and what motivated you to actually continue on. Because look at all those figures in the background. Wow. I've been watching a lot of your stuff lately too, and how you do different toys. But yeah, the Action Man really touched memories back to the time when I was younger too.
Yeah, like when I got into collecting around 16, 17, Action Man was the only thing I collected. I figured out pretty quickly that because Action Man ran for so long, 18 years it was in production from 66 in the UK through to 1984. There was so much stuff out there. I'm like, there's no way I can collect this along with all these other toy lines. So for the first 20 plus years that I was collecting, that's all I collected. And it was really probably around 12 years ago, I started branching out and picking up other stuff. And it all started, I think I came across some $6 Million Man toys, and they were kind of a little bit before my time. But again, having an older brother who was like 6 years older, he was born in 71. So I had a lot of his toys passed down to me. So as a kid, I had a lot of 80s toys, but I also played with a lot of 70s stuff. I had an Evil Knievel stunt cycle and things like that. It was around 12 years ago I went off and I started to.
Okay, look like we got. Yeah, this is a shame. Hope Tony will be back. It's a bit of glitch on Campbell and Tony's side. But actually, as Tony was saying, our older brother he's 6 years older than me. And it's 1970, actually 1971 he was born too. And that's how I got into my Action Man. Before Campbell and I got into gijoes and bought our gijoes, we had Action Man too. So I can actually quite relate to this chap. quite a lot, because we had the same sort of thing. We had like Stingray. I don't even remember Stingray and Thunderbirds. It was passed down to us from our older brother. So I was the youngest brother out of my older brothers, and we had Stingray. We had Star Wars that came out in 1977, and that was my first time. Actually, I can start a trend of the Star Wars stuff. So it's very actually interesting how when we were younger, we had the chance to get toys. I mean, yeah. Well, look at it. You got a bunch of my uncle's hand-me-down toys. And Actionman, that's awesome. You got that passed down. That's like historic stuff that have been passed down to you from your uncle. And I think us ones who are our age, we had the luckiness to get passed down. Like a lot for me was Tonka trucks too. Just toys that get passed down. You can't. Parents at that time they couldn't afford these fresh toys, and now they're expensive as. But back then they was expensive. So that was actually quite cool. This is really sad what's happening here. Hey, I don't mind. It was come my show. So I was really looking forward to actually talking to Campbell and Tony about this. But hey, no worries, guys. We'll continue on with me. So what's everyone been up to? I'm only one lad right now. Campbell's gone down something. He's caught the internet flu. And I think Tony's caught the internet flu too. So it's down to me now. Yeah, I agree. There's nothing wrong with that. And memories. That's memories that it's more valuable than anything else. I mean, I love Star Wars. What's this? The internet stopped. Oh, don't worry, I got this. Hello, Zazel. How you doing? Okay, how you doing? I got this. No worries, I got this. Hey, it's not good. You'll do well. Yeah, hey, it's okay. But as I was just explaining to Tony, man, with the toys back then, man, the accessories, clothing they got, and the hair. Here's what I remember on top: the fuzziness. I love it, and that was amazing. So what other toys did you guys remember playing when you were younger, apart from gijoes and that? I remember the old Transformers, and this is actually getting me on the 70s bug. Remembering the toys back then. For me, I think if I talking about Father's Day. Oh, hang on. Hey, Tony.
I'm sorry, man. I don't know what happened. My internet crapped out, but I'm back.
I think Campbell, his internet stopped. Yeah, but that's okay. I was just talking about how great it was. You're talking about the toys back in the 70s. I was explaining I'm 6 years between me and my older brother. Campbell was the middle one. So I had toys back down from 1971 onwards. I remember Stingray, Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
My older brother still got some of those old school toys. That guy, and he used to collect commando books, the little commando sort of. Yep. And he that's where I remember all the memories from my older brother, and I was lucky enough to actually experience the hand-me-downs too. So yeah,
and. I also my dad's the eldest of four, so his brother's nine years younger than him. He was born somewhere in the early 60s, so a lot of his toys got handed down to my brother, and then when my brother's toys got handed down to me, I had some really random 1960s stuff that I was playing with. I had Bonanza toys. Remember the TV show Bonanza? They made toys of Bonanza. I can't remember what company made them. But yeah, I had these little Bonanza horses and some of the characters, and it took me a long time later on in life to try and figure out what these toys actually were that I had this memory of playing with. So yeah.
Yeah, man, that's I never ever. I've heard about Bonanza. I watched Bonanza. I love that show. I still watch it. It's one of the classic westerns. But the toys, Oh well, mate, that's memory. Like I was saying to the chat before, that's memories that's worth more than it's not. There's no price on that memories you have right there, mate. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So like.
I'm back. Sorry, guys.
Hey, I dropped out as well. I don't know. It's like someone sabotaged both our internets at the same time. So,
it's the Cobra Pit. It's that evil master of evil Cobra Pit.
He wants to be the star of the show. wants to be a
thanks,
solo
bro,
artist.
Thanks, bro, for taking care of that, mate.
Yeah, I can't. Can you see me? I can't see nothing.
Yeah, I can see. Can't you?
I'm
yourself back out and get something. I can see you, bro. Like we can hear you. We can and just go with the flow. But you can come out and come in.
Yeah. Yep. I got this. No worries. Give me a second, guys. I
love it, man. It's the 20th century, and internet is still shit in some parts of the world.
My internet has been good. I've had problems. I've been in this house for 2.5 years. I have internet issues sometimes, but they've been fine for ages now. And then I jump on here, and 10 minutes in, my internet craps out. But we're all good.
To be honest with you, we seem to have an issue every sort of show, like the internet, and it's got to be part of the deal, actually.
Yeah.
Hey, if I can say my evil plans always come to fruition. I am truly evil.
So, and I just say we're going off track. I don't mean we literally go off track.
Off track. I had to keep it on track because of you, bro. That whiteboard is a curse.
Yeah,
whiteboard.
So anyway, so going back, Tony, you're saying that in the toy store was Gamley, is that right? Over in England,
Gamley's.
Your dad.
Gamley's was the main like family-owned toy store in the town where I grew up on the south coast of England. Yeah, I don't know when it closed down. That was a long time ago, but it was. Even if I didn't get a toy, it was just exciting when my parents took me to the toy store to have a look at everything. And I've got some really fond memories of Gamley. I still remember exactly where it was, what street it was on in my hometown. It was on this side street round the back of British Home Stores, which is still there. Or it certainly was last time I was over there. But I used to love going into Gamley's.
Nice. Yeah, us in New Zealand is probably Toy World, eh? Or Bunkers. Bunkers and Toy World were the same toy brand. They just had Bunkers Toy World. Yeah. We actually love that.
They're the same brand. For us, it was Toy World. That was our main one. Bunkers.
That was the so I came to Australia in '88 when I was 11 years old. So I still had another year or two of being into toys before you hit high school and you put down the toys and start chasing girls. And when I arrived in Australia, I think the only chain of toy stores at that time was Toy World, and there's not many of them left. There is one down in Fremantle near where my dad works. There are a few Toy Worlds around, but in the late '80s when we came here, that was the only. I mean, you could get toys in, there'd be the aisle in the back of department stores like Kmart and stuff, but the actual proper toy store here in Australia was always Toy World. I remember going into one. I would have been around 12 years old in Australia and seeing all the Tiger Force G.I. Joe for the first time. And I wasn't really into Tiger Force, but there were a few of the older vehicles that I never had in childhood. Like I always wanted the Snowcat and never got it. So when I saw the Tiger Force version, I started asking my parents for that. I never got that either, but it was good. The one good thing about Tiger Force was if you were a kid who missed some of those early vehicles, it gave you another opportunity to get them.
And so we got a bit of money for Christmas. Yeah, we've got Machine Man here. We should actually introduce the chat too. So it's a bit of pocket money, and I think my younger brother or the Cobra Pit, he got the Tiger Cat.
Yeah, okay.
Which I have,
yes.
which I have to say, it's not the best condition, but it would be great for a custom of mine.
I'm pretty sure I bought the Tiger. Yeah, I bought the Tiger, and you bought the 4-wheeled buggy. What was that called? Didn't you get that, bro?
Yeah, the All Striker.
Yeah, that's right. It came
All
with
Duke.
Yeah, I had Duke, Tiger Duke.
Yeah,
pretty sure. Yeah, but I reckon the best thing that came with that Tiger set was the Cobra one, the Pythons. Was it Python?
Python Patrol.
Yeah.
Patrol. Yeah, they were awesome.
Yeah, that's out of it.
That was another. They were both the gijoe. Where hey, Mr. Frostbite in the house. Howdy.
But yeah, so you went to the store and you see your first action man that you really wanted.
Yeah, well,
do you still have them?
I don't know which one. I still have my childhood action man. Well, I had like 5 or 6. I don't know if this was I don't think this was the first one I ever got, but this one was my favorite, and I know it's him because he's got like some scars on his arm and on his chest that I burnt in with a hot match head because I was trying to make him a bit of a Rambo, you know, when he gets the scar when he falls out of the tree. So that's how I know this is my childhood one. I don't think this was the first one I ever got, but he was definitely my favorite in childhood. And yeah, so he doesn't live out in the collection room. He stays here in the display, so he's always close by me when I make my videos. I like having him around. He also doesn't stand up very well because he's so well played with. So
yeah, I understand that. I totally understand that. Because as I said before, I watched a few of your videos, and you said that you moved from England to Australia at the age of 8 or 11. And
11, I was. Yeah, my sister
11.
was. My sister was 9. I was 11. It was 1988. We came over here.
Yeah, and you were like, you're all right for selling other toy lines, but the Action Man, you were absolutely positively did not want to sell your Action Man. Did you have to sell some or all? I mean, not some, or did you keep all?
Well, so it's very expensive. I mean, it's expensive to pay a removalist just to, when you move house and just go down the street. When you're moving the other side of the world, it's insanely expensive. So my parents, they got rid of all of their furniture and they basically just kept personal possessions, and they had, their rented room in a shipping container to bring some stuff to Australia with the intention of when we got here and we settled, they would have to go out and buy, new beds, new couches, all of this stuff. And they wanted us kids to get rid of everything. And I begged and pleaded with my parents. I didn't want to let my toys go. So I was allowed one box, and that was just enough to put my Action Man stuff in. I had a Jeep and a bunch of figures and some bits and pieces. But I had to get rid of all of my Star Wars, my Rambo toys, my Action Force, which was like, the British version of G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero. All of that stuff had to go. So that's probably why I spent most of my adult life trying to get it all back again,
We've got Shark Eyes in the house too, bro. Hey, Shark Eyes. I didn't do an extreme move like you did, Tony, but I moved from one city to another. So I moved from Hastings to where I am now, Palmerston North, which is 2 hours drive. And I did recall, and also saving up for a wedding too. So I sold some of my figures to save up for a wedding, help pay for a wedding, which it did. But then my wife, she said to me, like, you're going to totally regret this. And she's right. I did totally regret it. And I have brought back what I sold, double the price. But, it is what it is. And then, but she said to me, like, never do that again. Never. She says, never ever sell something that you love, And I totally agree with her, actually. I mean, I remember even before that, like when Distro got another version of Distro, I sold the original Distro, and she was one that convinced me if I was a true collector of G.I. Joe, I should be collecting all the vintage series.
Yeah,
and I was like, yeah, you're right. I should keep like version 1, version 2, and it is what it is. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm starting up again. Mate. Both Star Wars and G.I. Joes, I'm starting back up. But I went through a messy relationship where I had to get rid of all stuff to start again. So yeah, I had to rebranch, went to Wellington, and now I'm back on my feet. So yeah, building up.
Building up, bro. Nice and slow. Just do it slowly, bro.
Well, taking my time now. I'm older. I can take my time because I'm older.
That's the main.
When you're younger, you want. When you're older, you realize, well, I got bills. I got to get this side out of the way. Then I can get this. You feel more mature. When you're younger, you just buy it and realize.
So when you went to this toy store, that's going back, say the 80s, eh? Like 80. I'm going to take a rough guess and say it's 83, 84, 82, maybe.
83, 84, something like that. Yeah. Well, because all throughout the 80s, whenever I would go to a toy store with my dad, so he collects die-cast metal toy soldiers. So I'm like 6, 7, 8 years old, going into toy stores asking for Action Man or Rambo. I was really into military toy lines, A-Team, that kind of thing. I would go into the toy store and be looking for these toys and asking for this stuff. And my dad might pick up an Action Man outfit for me, but then he would buy some small toy soldiers. And we would get home and I would play with my Action Man on the living room floor. And he would put his soldiers into a glass display cabinet in the corner. When you see your father doing that when you're an impressionable young kid, you're like, oh, that's what you do when you get older. So I remember being 6 or 7 years old, thinking it was a perfectly normal thing that when I got older that I would stop playing with toys and would start collecting them. And I've always had this thing about putting my toys in glass display cases because of seeing my dad do that at such a young age. Like I was obsessed with buying a glass cabinet. I think I got my first one when I was around 21 years old. And I started to display my toys then. But I'd wanted one since before then. It was the age of 21 when I could first afford like a pretty decent glass cabinet to display stuff. So
here's an interesting question here from Machine Man, and he says, "Did your dad ever keep the boxes back in the day?"
He would keep the boxes. I know. I don't remember if he ever told me to keep the boxes, but I remember I always used to try. I remember in 1987, I was getting all of the Action Force figures, which were rebranded G.I. Joes. That was the year I was getting Flint, Barbecue, Shipwreck, Lady J, all of those classic characters. Yeah. And I was a little bit older. I was 10 years old. So, you're the older you get, you're a bit more careful with your toys. And I remember getting each one of those figures and carefully opening the bubble around the edge, but keeping the bubble attached to the blister. And when I'd finished playing with them for the day, I would put them back in the blister cards and would display them on top of this chest of drawers in my bedroom because I used to love seeing the way the artwork looked. But again, that's something that I wasn't allowed to bring with me when I moved to Australia. So,
yeah. Funny you should say box because I purchased this at a toy fair, but it didn't have the plastic protection case over it. So I carefully pulled it apart and out of my girls' Barbies because I've started quite late with being a family man. Yeah. I'm in my 50s and my girls are turning 7 next month and 5. So they didn't want the box. I went, all right, it's cool. I'll take this off carefully and with a bit of a glue and put it back on. And that was my first I know it's not Action Man, but it's my first 12-inch G.I. Joe that I ever bought.
Yes.
I remember seeing that in toy stores in Australia. I would have been about 15 or 16 when that line hit, when they brought the 12-inch G.I. Joes back. I bought a bunch of them at the time. I had that exact figure.
Wow.
I don't know what I've done with them since, but yeah, the first wave was Duke, Stalker, Cobra Commander, and Snake Eyes. I bought all of those. From the second wave, I got Ace the Fighter Pilot. I got Storm Shadow. They made Destro, but I didn't get him. And I remember getting that grunt. But yeah, I don't know what's happened to it since then.
Pretty sure
my brother actually got Destro, and he gave it to me. Thank you, bro.
Yeah. I knew we'd go home.
I don't know if you actually see some of my work, Tony, but I also do customizing in 12-inch. So I made myself, and I should have done this for the channel.
That's really cool. They didn't make a Viper for that line, did they?
And there's the Action Man motorcycle helmet, and I just took that off. And where I work, I make fin strips. Not fin strip.
Aluminium.
It's a mouthful. Refrigeration coil fabricator. So we make the stuff that makes the refrigerator cool. So it's all done by aluminium fin strips. So I just took an off piece of that, molded it. That was probably the third attempt, and even then, it's not exactly perfect because it's like a little bit indent. Yeah. And just wrapped that around, hot glue gun, and I made a Viper. And I wish they actually made Vipers. They would have been an awesome army building from Hasbro.
Yeah, they didn't do Vipers. I don't even think they did basic Cobra troops in that line. Not that I can remember. No.
It was a great line that came out. Was going off track. We were talking about 90s G.I. Joes, but we are talking about G.I. Joes anyway in Action Man. It was a great line that came out. Well, still a great line, but they missed a few things. You know, they brought out the Hall of Fame greats, but they brought in the soldier, like the Cobra Troopers or the Bats or the Vipers. They would have sold heaps. They would have sold shitloads, I reckon.
Yeah.
I would have been definitely waving my credit card at that one. I'll be definitely one.
True. So it's this. May I order one from you? I'll just go around. I'm gonna go around toy fairs and get the certain parts.
Yeah, like you need all the parts to make it.
Yeah. But anyway, let's go back to this is us. I'm sorry, Tony, we go off track a lot, and I'm trying to be really professional because you are a no nonsense type of guy, and I really appreciate that. I actually gravitate.
Especially me that goes off track, bros. You've been the one that's going off track lately. You go drink a bottle and you stay like that for hours, realize that you're gone.
Hey, it's a bottle of V.
I'm being a good one here.
I'm sorry, I've been up kind of late. But so you went to Aussie. Yep. And you had to sort of take. I'm hoping you sort of took majority of your Action Man with you.
I took all of my Action Man stuff. Yeah, I've still got all of my childhood stuff. A lot of the figures had to be repaired over the years because I really played with them a lot. So yeah.
Oh wow. Thank you, Chad. And Chad's in the house too. Thank you, Chad. That's awesome, buddy.
Chad's in the house.
He's staying up late in the States.
He is too. Thank you so much, buddy. I really want to get Chad on the show too, bro. So we're gonna organise that sooner or later. I keep saying that to him a lot.
If he's up for it, I'm up for it.
What someone said this off track is not calling bushwhack. That's true. So anyway, another thing that caught my eye, believe it or not, watching your videos is that I didn't realize, I'm going back to the whiteboard here, that the Action Man from Palitoy was originally based on the 1964 G.I. Joe Hasbro line. So,
Yep.
was there a partnership between Hasbro and Palitoy with that?
Yeah, so Palitoy licensed GI Joe to bring it to the UK market, and the way it came about, there was a Palitoy marketing guy who had traveled to the United States on holiday in 64, 65, somewhen. Saw GI Joe in a toy store and brought one or two of them back for his grandson to play with. And he was watching his grandson play with his toys and really enjoying them. So he brought it into Palitoy headquarters, and he's like, "Hey, look, this could be a really good item to license and bring to the UK market." So Palitoy kind of made this connection with Hasbro. I don't quite know kind of how that connection started, but they licensed it, and they said the name GI Joe was not very marketable in the United Kingdom. They actually thought it might turn parents away because there were at that time, you've got to remember, a lot of the parents had grown up during World War II, and a lot of ladies in the United Kingdom, after the Americans left after World War II, a lot of them had like fallen pregnant and things like that. And there was a lot of single mums in the UK at the time who had, the fathers of their children were GIs. So they wanted to come up with a new name. At one point, I think he was going to be called Danger Man. Danger Man was a popular TV series at the time starring, I think it was Patrick McGoohan. But they ended up settling on the name Action Man because they felt like that GI Joe was a very military name, and it would be hard for that brand to branch out outside of the military, even though Hasbro ended up doing it successfully with the Adventure Team. They really felt like with that war. Yeah. So that they really felt like giving him the name Action Man. Well, he could do anything. He could do adventure, sports. He will obviously end up going into space and all that kind of stuff. So
that's a good question, Machine Man. Did the Kung Fu grip hand come from Palitoys, or was it? I think it was Palitoy, wasn't it? That came with the Kung Fu grip.
There are. So when you look at all the innovations that happened with the original figures, the first one was the talking voice box. That was created by Hasbro in the US for GI Joe and brought across for Action Man. Then they brought in the realistic hair, the fuzzy hair. That was done by Palitoy in 70.
I loved it.
Palitoy then did the gripping hands in 73. Then it was the eagle eyes, and that was done by Hasbro in the US. So they kept kind of taking turns at developing these innovations. And then the final couple, which were Palitoy only, because by then the 12-inch GI Joe had died away, was the new dynamic physique, and then the final one was the sharpshooter position, where he just had a small notch on his neck so he could hold his head upright when he laid down.
Sorry, well, I should have read it a bit more, actually. Sorry about that.
All right.
Sure.
I didn't have it.
That's disappointing.
That is. Yeah, mate. Yeah, that's really disappointing.
That's
mate, I feel your pain. Yeah, I was looking at something at Alibaba to ship to New Zealand, and I haven't paid for it yet, but I wanted a quote, and they're saying, "Yep, we can ship it to Australia." And I replied back, I said, "No, I'm in New Zealand." "Yeah, we can ship it to Australia." No, I'm in New Zealand. "Yeah, Australia's the one we're going to send it to you." I was like, "Oh, give up." Just give up.
Yeah, just give up now.
I mean, nothing against Australia, but yeah, just send it to New Zealand.
Yeah.
I don't deal with that lot. I deal with Timu, which is mainly from stuff from Australia. I find a lot of stuff on Timu is great.
Yeah.
Just be aware, bro, that they've I've heard that they can, go into banks and rob you blind without you knowing.
Oh, don't worry, I got that covered, bro.
You got the DOS card, have you?
I don't use my main account. Just say that. I'm not that stupid.
Good boy.
What I do is I put enough money to buy something, and it's they can go and look at it as much as they want and say, this guy's broke. He's got nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, stupid.
So yeah, anyway, you're in Australia, Tony, and I'm looking at my notes here. So years gone by, and I believe, and I may have heard this wrong because I had my girls watching the TV at the same time. So you were at age 16, and your dad went to a toy collection fair.
Yeah, that's where it all really started for me. Like when I I probably didn't stop playing with toys until I was 13. I want to say, like I remember my first year of high school. Obviously, I wouldn't tell anybody, but I think I was still playing with toys a little bit. And then when I was 14, 15, although I wasn't really playing with toys, I got into Hero Quest. I was making models, military models. I was doing Tamiya 1:32 scale tanks and things like that.
Nice.
I started buying those 12-inch Hall of Fame G.I. Joe figures, but rather than playing with them, I was buying them as I want to collect these. And then when I was 16, my dad went to a collectible show that was specifically for toy soldiers. You know, he used to go to this thing. I think they had it like 2 or 3 times a year. And I went to one of these shows with him. You know, and he's walking around the hall, and all the guys have got the different tables with all the different die-cast metal toy soldiers and die-cast vehicles. And he goes up to one table, and he's having a chat with the seller. And I noticed that under the table, this guy had like a huge like milk crate, and in it had an Actionman deep sea diver, the SAS figure, an SAS helicopter. It had a couple of $6 Million Man figures. It had Maskatron, the Bionic Woman. And I got really excited. And I'm saying to my dad, "Oh, he's got vintage Action Man stuff here." And the guy wanted like $100 for the whole milk crate, which was a lot of money back then, but not really a lot of money for the amount of stuff that was in this box. But you know, this wasn't a toy show. This was a toy soldier show. No one else was there looking for Action Man, and this guy was like, you know, $100 for the whole box. And my dad said to me, if this starts you on your path of collecting, I'll get this for you. And he bought me the whole box of stuff, and that was it. From then on, I just didn't stop looking for vintage toys, which was difficult in those days because this is this is 1993, pre-internet. It was a little bit easier in the UK. There was like collector magazines and stuff like that, but it wasn't really until when I was 18, I moved from Western Australia over across to Sydney. And when I was living in Sydney, there were actually a few toy shows around, and I met another Action Man collector. I met him through a newspaper, and he started taking me out to this toy show I think it was in Granville, just like the first Friday of every month or something like that. And I started going there, and every time I went, I was able to pick up something new, and and I just started building my collection from there.
Yeah, that really. Because I watched it today actually, and honestly, mate, I saw that part like 2 or 3 times. That really touched my heart. That your dad, especially on Father's Day, like I couldn't believe it. And I was like researching a few. As I said, I watched a lot of your stuff for 7 years, but my memory's not that great. So I decided today, and it's Father's Day, hey, it's my day too. I'm going to binge watch Tony, but I'm going to go right from almost like the very beginning.
Yeah.
And just seeing that part, and I was looking for Action Man, and that, honestly, mate, that really touched my heart because your dad sort of said, "Oh, here you go, I'll pay for this. If it's going to set you up to your career or collecting career, it's going to make me happy." I mean, our dad's passed away like a good, is it 3 years now, bro? I'm terrible with remembering years and all that.
I think 2 years ago, bro.
And I remember my dad, like when my All Striker broke, where he worked, there was a toy world not too far away from where he is, and during lunchtime, there's like a little small mall in Napier, and he managed to find one, and he told me about it, and I said, "Oh, Dad, like here's the money. Can you pick it up for me, please?" And yeah, sure, he picked it up for me. That wasn't in the box, and I said, I don't care, it's not in the box. I really want my All Striker back. And looking back now with my skills, I could probably repair the All Striker. I should have kept the old one. That would have been a great thing for my channel, repairing my original All Striker. But he went out and brought it for me. You know, I mean, okay, I paid for it, but he still went out and got me that All Striker. So, yeah, that really touched my heart. And as I said, being Father's Day here in New Zealand and Australia, I don't know if it's in UK. It's kind of fitting.
It's a different day in the UK, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but it's kind of fitting actually to sort of see that. And I really want to bring that up today, like what your dad did to you for saying, okay, mate, I'll buy you that box, and off you go.
And look, he still does. You know, my dad, he still collects toy soldiers. He's got
wicked.
Probably the one big difference between me and him is I love displaying my toys, and my dad built a new house a few years ago. He's lived there for a while, and he bought glass display cabinets to go in his living room on either side of the TV. And he's just not very. He just doesn't pull his stuff out of boxes. He's got all these empty shelves in these beautiful cabinets. I was like, you've got all these awesome toy soldiers packed away in boxes. Get them out and get them displayed. And he's like, I'll get around to it. Whereas me, that would be my priority before I even, built new furniture, would be get the toys out and worry about the household essentials later,
Yeah, well, with me, I know I should get my stuff displayed up and all that, but, I've always, like I said before in these streams, it's like I'm lack of room, trying to figure out what to do. Try to think of a clipper shelf. Won't work in the garage. The garage is so small in these new houses. But I found out this great idea where I got actually I was in like a $2 shop, and it had these sort of plastic sort of things that's long, and I don't know what to use it for, but it wasn't a shoebox, but it would fit gijoes perfectly. So I'm gonna have all my joes lined up in this clear plastic and have a neo light, so they're shining. If I want to turn it on, I can turn it on. So I'm actually getting steps of doing it. I said my first plan was the clipper shelf, and then my girlfriend goes, "Well, yeah, go for it, baby, but think about it. Drive in. So we want to put it right there. Open up door. Poof. Oh, okay, that's not gonna work. If you put something stick right there with the measurements, it'll be bang, bang. I'm a big guy, I'll be like." So I have to.
Yeah, you got to give it.
I had to put away all my tools, drill tools, pack them up nicely, put bins in, put them nicely, and have the top part of my workbench where I'm going to display them.
Yeah.
But the ones I want to, it's like talking about the action man stuff like that, the big figures like this. It's like, oh, where am I going to fit these guys? Where am I going to fit the bigger guys?
Yeah, I know where you're getting at, bro.
I'll just have them out around the house.
Yeah, I know where you're getting at. A couple of my, like the All Striker 12-inch All Striker I've custom made, which I'm going to go back because I'm not really happy with the color, but also the buggy I've done for Vamp. I've got that sitting on the floor because I've got no shelf space.
Yeah. So you can get more. Like I got more Star Wars figures than the last video we went on. I was like, "We can do, Quinn."
Actually,
I got some. You go ahead, bro.
So Tony, another thing I noticed too, and I didn't realize this, that you said on your video that Palitoy invented the flocking and then introduced it to Hasbro. So this is true. Is that right?
Yep.
That's
Palitoy. They did the flocked hair first in 1970, and then they did the gripping hands in 1973. So they created both of those innovations. And Palitoy called it realistic hair and gripping hands, and in America they called it lifelike hair and kung fu grip. So they changed the name a bit, but both of those innovations were developed in the UK and sent the other way, and Hasbro adopted them for the Adventure Team series.
Wow, I mean, that's much better than I'm going to show you this because I haven't developed the flocking technique, but I just use hot glue gun for Outback's hair, his beard.
Yep.
So
Looks
I mean,
good,
the hair was already plastic. Yeah, I made a couple of mistakes doing that video, but I learned in the past anyway. But when I was doing the Outback hair, I realized it looked a bit like there's another YouTuber called Sazel. I thought, oh, it looks like Sazel. And then I thought, well, it looks like Ewan McGregor for Star Wars Episode 2.
Yeah.
So I didn't, well, because the beard isn't actually orange, is it a rusty orange that I've made up from the Tamio color paints? But yeah, that's my version of Outback. Is that light too bright? Probably
it's too bright for it.
How's that? Much better?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something I quite love to do is the customization of the 12-inch. We don't have Action Man, do we, bro? Do you recall our neighbor had the Action Man in the 80s, and mate, we used to play with his Action Man for hours on end.
No, in Sunderland Drive, we had an Action Man toy. I had an Action Man toy. Yeah, that's why I was just saying to Tony, I love that. I love the hair. I used to go like this.
The flocking.
This feeling on my face when I was a kid.
That's like
you know? We had Action Man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You had him, and our neighbor had him, but I never had him. I tell you the thing.
Yeah, we had him.
To tell you what, the figure I did have was the 12-inch Spock from the movie. From the movie, I love that figure.
I had the 12-inch Captain Kirk, but not Spock.
That was Mego, eh?
Yeah, that was Mego.
Yeah, man, I love that. I don't know what's happened to. Honest to God, if I see him at a toy fair, even though I collect Gijoe, I will be getting that.
My 12-inch Captain Kirk, I remember he broke really quickly. Megos were not as durable as Action Man figures.
No. But I love that thing to death, man. I literally was a young chap, and I took that to bed. And you know, where we work, we have a saying like "logic Spock."
Yeah.
So in other words, we're saying like, just use your logic, use your basic common sense when you're doing something. I'm not a bull.
On my ATJs, those kids stop.
So another interesting thing is so Palitoy invented the flocked hair, and and then the innovation was copied across by Hasbro. But I don't know if Hasbro wanted to use a cheaper glue or whatever, but they didn't use the same glue. So where you find a lot of Action Man figures today, you know, a lot of them still will have a full head of hair. You know, I'm not saying it doesn't come off, but it's a lot more durable on Action Man figures. Whereas Gijoe Adventure Team guys, you just got to rub it with your thumb, and all the flocking starts to come off because they didn't use the same glue. And if you squeeze the heads on Gijoe figures, the glue kind of cracks and all the hair falls off. So,
oh, that's right. I remember you. Another thing I watched a recent video, and it was only a chance I actually got a chance to watch the video with my daughters. You're with your mate who collects Barbie and Big Jim, and he said that he's got there's a board spot on the side that annoys the crap out of him.
Yeah,
because he knocked them. Yeah, so that was they obviously must have followed suit with the flocking technique with that too.
They did it before, but they used a different method. So that was on a Ken doll from like the early 60s. I don't quite know what process they used, but when Palitoy did it for Action Man, they actually used what they called electrostatic flocking, where they put like a dowel inside the head, and the electric charge, the static electricity would not only make all the little hair filaments stick to Action, it would make them stand on end, a bit like, if you rub a balloon on your arm, it makes all the hairs on your arm stand up.
Stick up.
Yeah, so it was a different method that they used.
Yep. There's a guy in Fielding where I'm probably about 10 minutes where I live, and he collects a lot of Action Man stuff, like a lot of. And I've actually done firewall with him, and he's developed his own flocking technique as well, and it's really, really quite good. He hasn't quite much. He's decided to put flock on the eyebrows, and I said it looks like it's abominable, like a oh shit. Sorry, looks like it's abominable snowman or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few guys in the UK that offer like reflocking services, and I've used some in the past where if you do have an Action Man where some of the hairs come off, you can send away the heads for. It's been a year since I've done it, but back in the day, it was only like £5 or £10. You could send a head to them, and they would completely strip away what was there, and then redo it. And you could actually ask them to do custom stuff like a handlebar mustache and things like that. And I've seen guys, do the eyebrows before and things. Yeah.
Yep. It's that's what I did with the Outback, because basically I figured the head's plastic and that's a 90s a 90s Action Man. And I thought, I could do flocking, but I don't know flocking at this stage of the game. And all I know is basically hot glue gun or milliput. And I was like, let's try hot glue gun and see what happens. And so I put it on, and I was able to sculpt it with my Dremel tool. I was actually quite impressed how it came out. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but and also quite relieved it turned out all right. If you haven't seen that, Tony, I do suggest check it out. It's I've got some more 12-inch G.I. Joes that I have created. Like here's my and this is an Action Man parachute that was given to me for the channel. And so I made my own ripcord.
Yeah, very nice.
Sure, the weapon's not exactly the right one, but I've just brought the weapon today, which will be in the post by the end of the week. So I'll swap this gun out for something else.
Doesn't look right.
And I'm not in actual fact, because I don't know much about weapons and all that. I never claimed to be an expert as well, but I just know that, I need to try and match that weapon the best I can. If I can't, then I'll just say it's my interpretation of ripcord or my interpretation of Outback. That's my safe. And actually, talk about customs. Have you ever custom like your Action Man?
I used to do a bit of custom. I don't really do it anymore. I used to do a lot of customizing of Action Man stuff. I went through a bit of a phase around 10, 12 years ago where I was doing a lot of vintage stuff, kind of creating a few outfits that I thought Palitoy should have made back in the day, but didn't. So I remember doing like they did Australian jungle fighters from World War II, but I remember making like a Vietnam era Australian soldier, where he had the slouch hat and the green uniform, and he had an M60 and an SLR and that kind of thing. So, but yeah, I don't do a lot of customizing. I don't really have the time, because we can only have so many hobbies in life, and I spend so much time making videos. If I was customizing toys, I'd struggle to get my videos made. So,
yeah, I know exactly what you mean, mate. I've had to reschedule my life. So it's how my time frame is that it's work. I come home. If I come home early, then I do a little bit of work on my channel, like either customizing or repairing. But then once the girls are home, I stop that. I deal with the girls with my wife, and then once the girls are asleep, I try and make it like another half hour or an hour on my channel, and then I'm back inside with the wife. I was a little bit longer on Friday because things are going so well with this new glue that I was using that I just was so blown away. I just went along and then started repairing everything I saw.
Yeah.
Instead of leaving it alone. But I try and put my time frame with my family first. And that seems to work out a lot better, because I think the first year I did the channel, I was a bit selfish, really, and it was all about the channel. And I was actually obsessed with the channel.
He's frozen on us again. Yeah, he's frozen. He's a bit emotional about all that. But no, I actually I can understand where he's coming from. That I had one particular hobby and I just took over it, just went crazy on it. Then I learned that, hey, that particular project's still going to be there next day. And I think that's what my brother's done. He actually kind of quietened down. He knew that project was there.
Sorry.
Have your time with your kids.
Oh, Liv actually asked a good question here. Do you like those German Action Man in line?
Yeah, I've got most of the Germans in the vintage Action Man. In fact, I've got all the different outfits that were released in the UK. There was a German paratrooper that came out only in Japan by Takara. I don't have that. It's quite an expensive outfit to get, but I don't have all the vehicles. Action Man vehicles are so big. I actually don't buy that many these days because I just don't have room to. I certainly don't have room to display them, and I'm running out of room to even store them. So, but yeah, I've got. Aside from that German variant of the paratrooper, I've got all the different German outfits that were released by Palitoy.
Wow. Talk about the German. What is your favorite? Literally your favorite Action Man? Do you have him pretty handy with you, or?
I don't have him handy. The collection's over in another room.
That's right.
It's really hard for me to say which is my favorite because it changes from day to day and what mood I'm in, and there is so many to choose from. But I really like the SAS guy. I've always liked the dressed in all black with the grey hood and the gas mask. Yeah. I really like the parachute regiment soldiers. I'm really fond of those. And there are other ones in my collection that just mean a lot to me for various reasons. So I've got the original American Green Beret that came out in 1967. And one of the reasons that's so special to me is because my friend who I did the Barbie tour video with, his collection, he bought me that 1967 Action Man Green Beret, which is quite a rare and desirable outfit. And he gave that to me as a 21st birthday present back in 1998. He gave that to me as a gift. So that, I'm very, very fond of that figure for that particular reason. There's a bit of a story behind it, and I remember how I got it and that kind of thing.
That's a lot better. Yeah, that's really cool, man. I love that. And I'm the same too. Like, there's certain figures and vehicles I love, and especially the ones that like my brother and I, we went to a toy fair and we did like a $10 challenge, and even though I haven't done anything yet to that figure, bro.
I know it's something down the road, bro. You'll come in handy. You'll probably one day we're.
I've got a figure in mind. And I might spill the beans. I'm looking at making a 12-inch hit and run. With that.
Yep. Okay.
I'm just going to get the components and all that, so it's probably will take a little bit longer.
Yep.
But I've got one coming out which I've always wanted to do, and it's coming up pretty soon. And that's I'm spilling the beans here a lot, but that's just me. I want to do a 12-inch beachhead.
Yeah.
So I managed to find some of the components that will probably do it. And the last thing I had to find was a rifle, and I couldn't find the right rifle, but I found something close to it. And I just need to make the magazine belts that fit on his chest. And I did not got an Action Man.
How are you going to do the head with the ski mask and everything? How are you going to do that?
Yeah, I was actually thinking myself.
Well, I brought the Action Man with the Wellington Toy Fair. Do you remember Mecca, bro? And he gave me a real good price on this figure that already had a ski mask.
Oh,
okay. I want him.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
He
had a whole bunch of.
Yeah, he sold Campbell 2 figures of price of one. I think it was one of those ones that he said, "No, hey, 2 for $20." Actually, that's a question I asked you, Tony. When I was younger, we had Action Man like you're talking about, but then later on in my teenage life, when Action Man came back out with the new style, what do you thought about them? Because I actually collected a lot of those new Action Man figures. I remember that, bro. I had the guy with who was that guy? Evil guy that looked like Dr. Miami that had a mohawk. Dr. X, yes.
Dr. X. Funny you should say that.
I had a lot. I actually went into a bit of a cray moment with the modern day X-Men, and I don't know why I didn't keep going for it. But what was your opinion on the modern day X-Men?
So when it first came out, and I want to say it was around 1994, 1995. 1995, I think it first came out in Australia. Maybe 94, maybe even 94. I was always a little bit disappointed with them because I didn't think they were kind of anywhere near as good as the old stuff. But I was just happy to see 12-inch scale Action Man figures back on store shelves. So I was buying a lot of that stuff at the time just because I was finding it very hard to find vintage stuff, and I didn't really have the budget for vintage stuff at the time. You know, I was only like 18, 19 years old when that stuff was coming out. So I've got a few of them in my collection now. I've got the Red Ninja from the very first wave in 1994. I've got that figure. I've got all the James Bond ones that they did. They did a bunch of limited edition James Bond ones. I actually made a video about that a couple of years ago. So I've got a few of those. But, you know,
I had a few. I had the one that you can put in a pool and it was a wetsuit sort of thing, and like that. I had heaps. I had heaps too. I had the skiing one. I had I think I did have the ninja one too, or was it the ninja one? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had
you had the red suit with and it had like the little stars that fly out.
He had a crossbow. Yeah, they did a whole bunch of different ninja ones. I liked the very first one they did. In fact, I've got him over here. I'll go grab him.
Sweet.
Oh, such a legend.
He is a
guy.
Majority of
here we go.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, that's from 1994. I think it's the only first release Hasbro Action Man that I have in my collection. I've got all of his accessories somewhere.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, he's really nice. So he came with a spring-loaded crossbow where you could fire the arrows and stuff.
Yeah, I think I had a different one. One was material. Mine one was he was mainly in like a plastic sort of outfit, like an armor, if I remember. Yeah,
they did a lot of ninjas. This was the very first one.
A lot of regions.
I think by the time the line ended, they'd done about 8 or 10 different Action Man ninjas.
Yeah, it had the blue mask, bro, the blue ninja mask, and the armor across. Yeah,
I think your favorite one I had. I think you took over. I think you got it for yourself, or whatever. It was the priest guy. Remember the priest guy? It was like a priest.
He was like the SWAT expert. So I've actually customized them into the modern Shockwave.
Yeah,
nice.
And I brought myself, and there was a one with the K9, or the German Shepherd. So I customized them into Law and Order. I actually brought two of them because I made the other dog into and I sort of built that sort of area to make it Timber for Snake Eyes.
When we were at that toy fair, bro, watching that guy, looking at that guy had those figures in a weird sort of way, it got my heart pumping when I was talking to him. And I was like, man, I was that close to just saying, I want them. I want them. Yep. I want to collect them again. Because when I was a teenager, I loved them. They were my last passion before I left toys. I was younger. I was about 12.
That's right, Tony. You're saying that in your career, you after your dad brought that box of Action Man, you started going to a lot more toy fairs after that to try and hunt.
Yeah, I did. Not immediately, because that was 16 when my dad got me that, and it was probably when I was 18 I'd moved to the other side of Australia. And once I had a driver's license and a car and a full-time job, I was around 18, 19. I started going out to toy shows in Sydney. And I'd go to and there were a lot more toy shows on in Sydney than there was compared to back in Perth, where I growing up in my teenage years. And I was just trying to get anything that I could. And sometimes, people would advertise stuff in the classified section of the newspaper, and it was a lot harder to find stuff in the pre-internet days. I actually think it's a lot easier now. With eBay and the internet and Facebook toy groups and all of that, it's much easier to unless you're looking for something super rare, you can click online and you can, if you had an unlimited amount of money, you could pretty much go and buy any vintage toy you wanted to today, unless it is something that's super, super rare. So,
yeah. In New Zealand, we've got ourselves a Actionman Facebook group, and that's where a lot of the clothing and outfits. I just did a big this type of thing. So, hey guys, I'm after a red beret for a custom, or I'm after a American style sailor's hat. You can see where I'm getting with that when I said American sailor's hat. And a lot of the Facebook group guys, and I wanted to pay money. They'll say, "Hey mate, it's yours." I'm like, "Are you sure?" Says, "No, mate. I've seen what you've done, and I love what you've done. Just go for it." And I said, "Oh," I was like, "Well, thanks. I'm ready to pay money for it." And at the Palmerston North Toy Fair, I met up with a guy. I think he's based in your area, bro, in Wellington. And he says, "Oh, mate, this is yours." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." So he gave me a red beret, and I said, "Well, I might as well tell you what I'm going to do." And he says, "Oh, mate, Beachhead's it's one hell of an awesome figure, and I needed a type of pants too." I said, "I'm actually after the brown sort of pants," and so he's got me the brown with the, I think it's Australian colors. It's close enough that I'm going to say, "Look, I'll take it."
Yep.
Yeah. But talking about toy fairs, bro, you got to go to that toy fair in November, bro, in Wellington.
Yeah.
And tell me what it's like. You got to film it for me too, mate.
Yeah,
I'll be one in New Plymouth. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't read that out. Sorry, Lilith, I just put it up, but I didn't read it. I agree with you, Tony. That. Sorry, I'm so rude about that. Sorry, Lilith.
Don't understand it in these modern toys groups.
Yeah.
It was a lot harder back in the day. So certainly maybe it would have been easier if in my teenage years if I wasn't in Perth. There was a lot more toy shows definitely back in the UK, and as soon as I moved over to the eastern states where there's a bigger population, and Perth is a pretty young city for Australia, as you know. When you go back to some of the toys I'm looking for from the 60s and 70s, the population of Perth was so much smaller back then that there isn't this abundance of old stuff lying around. So, you go to places like Melbourne and Sydney, or even back to the UK, and there's a lot more of it available. So, I've never actually picked up that much stuff locally in Perth. A lot of my stuff has come from elsewhere. So,
talk about the like collect vintage stuff. Do you also collect the vintage G.I. Joes, like from the 60s as well?
I do,
as well as the 80s.
Yeah, I do. So I don't collect anything from the 70s. I'm not really into Adventure Team, but because I've got such an interest in Action Man, my collection goes all the way back to the beginning in 1966. I'm very interested in where that came from, and it came from the 60s G.I. Joe. So I have probably about 25 1960s Joes, and I love those figures. And I particularly like collecting some of the ones that didn't make it to the UK market. If I've got the Action Man version, I don't really need the G.I. Joe version. But there was one of my favorites is the Japanese Imperial Soldier, because that was never brought to the United Kingdom, and that's from 1966, and that's not just an outfit; it's a unique figure where the face is actually different because it's supposed to represent a Japanese soldier. So, quite a hard figure to get.
Yeah, I actually saw the face mold on that on one of your shows, and absolutely amazing. Because it's something I'm also looking at. Like, I actually quite like the looks of. See, like Storm Shadow is literally Japanese, correct? and I've got the Hall of Fame Storm Shadow. His eyes, and I don't want to be rude to people, all the Japanese people, but his eyes don't look Japanese. And I'm like, oh, come on, people. I mean, come on. We know where we were getting at here. But I would love to see if Hasbro would have done a few others like a few other Action Man Japanese look to it. So I can make a quick kick custom, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Or else I can just probably go out and get a 3D printer and try my best with that. But I haven't done anything like that yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
I don't know if I've got the patience for it yet. You also clicked the 90s, 80s, and 90s G.I. Joe as well too.
I don't collect a lot of 90s stuff.
No.
I do collect the 80s G.I. Joe up until around 1989 and not really anything past that. Because for that's in my childhood, that's kind of when I got out of. I've got a few figures from the 90s, not many. My real era of G.I. Joe is 82 to about 89. It all goes a little bit crazy after that point anyway. So
yeah, you were saying that one of your favorites, I don't know if it's changed now, at the time was Hit and Run because of the face camouflage.
I always loved Hit and Run. Just that full cool camouflage and all the face paint. I love that figure in childhood.
Yeah. Just like likes of Lieutenant Falcon here. Just that you can tell it's military. Yeah. Green beret.
Looks like the Action Man guy behind you, the box.
A little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the green beret, you know.
And yes, I will be doing a 12-inch custom of Lieutenant Falcon in the future.
Yeah,
nice. Help myself. I don't know what I do pleases people or offend them, but really, it's all about what I enjoy as well. I don't have very many trolls. I think I have one person that said to me like, the work was horrendous and all that, and I just said, well, could you show me since you're an expert? And I was really polite, and the guy had nothing. I managed to stalk the person, and the guy does nothing. He just goes around and criticizes every other YouTuber. And I just went, oh, well, mate, I'm just going to politely say to you, just show me what you got, mate.
Yeah. Unfortunately, those people are out there. Just best not to pay them too much mind.
Just tell them to go and video yourself, clean your toilet, and then we'll see if that's more amusing than what you just said. That's why I feel like if you don't like what I do, well, change the channel, change to watch something else. But they want to get a rise out of you. They like pissing people off, and they're thinking that they're flesh.
Hey, Brendan.
Not.
Oh, Brendan.
Hey, Brendan's a good mate of mine.
Oh, nice.
He's at. Good to see him here.
Oh, no worries.
I'm glad he's here. Awesome. There's a few new people I've seen here, like Machine Man. More the merrier, that's all I say. Just changing tack a bit. I've been eyeing up your Luke Skywalker at the back. So is that full? Is that all plastic? Is it? Is it?
It's vinyl. The big one.
It's vinyl.
Yeah.
It's vinyl. So these are made by Gentle Giant. They started doing these quite a few years ago now, where they were basically doing 12-inch versions of the original figures, but making them look exactly the same. So that's why I've got him there next to the original small figure.
They're trying to make them. They're trying to make them look like the original figures, but it's actually it was done. I think 2012, 14. They did that. I remember.
Something like that is when they started doing them. Yeah,
they thought they would do something clever and make them look like the small figures. It's not bad.
Insane. I like it. That's really good. And is it really close to it, or even better?
It looks very close to it. I only got this recently, and this figure came out 10 years ago, I think. So, long time ago. So I only got it recently, and it was the first time I'd actually held one, and I was surprised. I thought it would be made with solid plastic, and it's not. It's like vinyl, a bit like you know what, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from the Ken of Ghostbusters line.
Oh,
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but he's made from a PVC vinyl, not hard plastic.
Yeah.
And yes, I was surprised they've made it look like the figure, but it doesn't feel like the figure because the plastic's completely different.
Yep. So basically, it's not designed to be playing around with. I suppose just put up there and display.
It's more display.
Which is I've said this before. I've said this before in most of my shows that it's a shame that toys these days aren't toys for kids. They're making toys for adults.
Yeah.
What's your views on that, mate? Like designed for adult collectors.
I think it's a real shame that kids don't have the options that we had when we were young. But then I also understand that toy companies are trying to make money, and with the advent of the digital era and iPads and PlayStations, you know, my own son has recently turned 18. He's never really played with toys other than he played with Lego for a bit, but he's always been more interested in playing games on a digital device, be it a phone, an iPad, or a PlayStation. So, I think it's a shame that kids don't have the options today, but at the same time, toy companies would probably go bankrupt if all they tried to do was, you know, appeal to kids and not the adult collector, because, you know,
I've never actually looked at that point of view,
Yeah.
and I've got to thank you for that. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
and I think because of
I'm
that,
actually pretty guilty, actually.
In doing that, you're noticing that the majority of the toys they're making for adults now, they actually put more details or put in a situation where they know the adults are going to display them. The kids are not going to wreck them. So, and it costs ridiculous price because they are collectibles. Kids, I'm with you, Tony. Kids these days, give them a Nintendo Switch or give them something like that, and they have that. And
I've got to step in here, bro, because I've grabbed a couple of classified figures, and I've actually stopped now because of the price. But because here in New Zealand, I've said it before, here in New Zealand, the price of it is just really out the gate, and it's just I'd rather spend that money on either better equipment or more vintage Joes or whatever. But the thing that winds my gears is that the weapon will be bent like a banana, so you can shoot around corners.
Yeah, I watched I watched Shark Eyes. Shark Eyes the other night. It was Ronnie Trickshot sent me a Facebook message saying, "Hey, watch this, Quentin. It's Cobras." And I looked at it, and I was pretty impressed. I was like, "Whoa!" I'm actually gonna start collecting until he came up to the weapons, and they were like, "I thought, what the fuck is this?"
Yeah,
there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way impossible. I'm going to spend $100 on a weapon that does this.
Yeah.
So he nearly had me, Shark Eyes, there. You did nearly have me. I was actually thinking, I'm going to start collecting these guys. I've got no kids with me, just the dogs in there. You know, I'm going to do it. Then all of a sudden he showed me the weapon. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Well, here's a good opportunity, bro, because Tony's into the Villaverse for toy line.
Action Force. Yeah.
Action Force.
Ooh.
And actual fact, isn't there a toy that's on your likeness as well?
Yeah.
The Desert Rat?
Yeah. Yeah, the Desert Rat character is it's a fictional character. Like when you read his file card and stuff, it's his real name has my name on the file card, and but it's a fictional version of me. It's a version of me as though I had stayed in the army for 20 years or something. But yeah, it's based on my likeness. That came out in 2022. That figure. So yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good. Action Force, that brought some memory back too. Back when I think you're doing Action Force, yeah.
So, bro, check out that video of Tony's. That's really good. That's that. When I saw that, I was like, oh, here's me making my own custom Action Man and gijoe of myself and my bro and friends and all that. And then I saw that and I was like, wow, that's insane. That's great. That is beautiful.
I was actually looking at like creating myself like a Cobra version of myself, and I got stuck. And actually, I'm thinking about trying this upcoming toy thing I'm going to go to. I'm actually going to try and find a good idealism Action Man figure I want. Then I'm going to go to a 12-inch Star Wars figure. I want to make myself into a Sith Lord sort of thing, customize myself. Since I'm a Star Wars,
you're going to make yourself into a Sith Lord.
I'm going to make myself a Sith Lord of me. And I was thinking, I'm going to give that a stab. I want to see that. Yeah, because I got my workbench all cleaned out ready.
Watch the space then.
Yeah, I'm actually got something coming up soon, guys. I just ordered a tool to get Cobra figures, those Cobra figures in that truck. So I will be launching a video out soon. I might
nice, bro. Because you don't have much actually.
What's that?
You don't have much at all. So you don't have much videos at all, but it'd be nice to see.
Oh well, yeah. As I said, we do night shift, and they say have good 2 nights off. I'm like, yeah, I took 2 nights off because the first night I'm sleeping. I wake up tomorrow about noon because I'm dead tired, and then all of a sudden, by the time I wake up, it's like my girlfriend's gone to bed for work at 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, oh, I want to do something now, and she's coming downstairs like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, oh shit. So I'm going to try and find a time where I can get in that narrow gap, but I'll get there. I had the same problem when I was doing carpentry. With our garage, it's just above our main bedroom, so she can hear everything I'm doing in the garage, and she was happy with me.
It's all right, bro. Don't you worry.
No, I'm actually looking at tomorrow doing a bit of modification, but I'm a bit new. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be a bit nervous because everyone's seeing what you can do, and I'm like, oh, Cobra Pit's going to go. It's going to be like,
no, just do,
your brother would have done this.
Just do what you got to do. Just do what you want to do and have fun. That's all I have to say. Just have fun. Don't worry about anybody else.
Yeah, I'll give it my best shot.
Don't worry about anybody else. I mean, I'm going to tell you something, Tony, and I was going to promise myself I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to be honest. So I've been wanting to interview for quite a few months now, and I honestly, when you said yep, honestly, I was like shitting bricks, mate. I was like, man, I've got to try and keep this professional. I can't sort of go off track, and your time is precious and all this. And I do appreciate you coming on board and coming along and doing the show.
That's my pleasure, man.
So, yeah.
I actually don't get many invites these days to go on live streams on other channel. And I'm always keen to, meet other people who are, sharing their collections on YouTube and stuff like that. So, I've got my regular friends and channels, that I kind of collaborate with sometimes, but outside of those guys, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why I don't get a lot of invites. Maybe there's a lot of people out there don't like me. Who gives a fuck? Whatever.
Exactly. Who gives a fuck? I mean, I used to really worry about what people would think, and all that. And then I started watching a few after doing the channel. I was like, you know what? I'll just be me. You just do what you do. You be you, and just relax and have fun. And I think this has actually made me a better person.
Yep.
Yeah, I think. And I'm starting thinking. I'm actually starting to think about giving a lot more to the community lately. I don't know why it's coming in my head lately. Maybe it feels like I just need to go out and start doing a lot more for the community.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I was just saying to someone the other day, that he's my brother's change. He's a less. I said, he's my brother's change. He's less of a cunt and more of a nice guy. You're becoming a nice guy. I'll have fatherhood or this here has got you out of the woodworks. And I have noticed every stream you do, bro, you're actually getting looser and looser. I'm kind of helping out.
Maybe it's old age. Maybe because I think I work.
No,
maybe I've got girls.
Girls. Yeah, I must admit. Yeah. But we're going off tracking him, bro.
Yeah,
mate,
but, maybe it's that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm gonna say, like, let's call this quits. I don't know. I really want to talk more about Actionman. So we've done the German line, Actionman, G.I. Joe. I'm just more aware that time is precious. Yeah,
we did the modern.
We talked about the modern line. We talked about customizing a bit. I don't know. Have you seen some of the work I've done, Tony?
I've checked out a few videos before. You've when you get invited onto a channel, you've got to check out a few videos to make sure. You can't walk in blind. Like, I'll be honest. I know your name, Campbell. I don't know Cobra Pitt's name.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Quentin.
Yeah, Quentin. Okay, cool. Yeah. It's always Cobra Pitt.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
He was. So he was the fifth born, but Mum and Dad had a couple of miscarriages. Oh no, they had one death, one stillborn.
First one, our sister, she died when she was born. She came out and didn't live long. And between you and Brent, my mum had a miscarriage. So I'm the fifth one born.
Yeah.
And Quentin means
talk about Brent. Talk about Brent, our older brother. I'm going to give up to Brent. He's been having a few health issues. He was in A&E last night, and I hope for the speedy recovery from you, bro, if you're watching. He's in another city, and I know if things go really, really bad, I'll just have to sort of like call it quits for a bit and sort of see if we can help him. But family always comes first.
And he's got a massive collection of Transformers, so he's a collector.
Yes, he has. Yeah, like he collects anything, but he's mainly Transformers. So one of these days, I would love to go back home and film his room.
Well, I'm planning to go up in end of September. I've got some time off.
Oh, yeah, you do it. Well, how about you do that, bro? You need more video footage for your channel.
Yeah. I'll go out and show his Transformers, man, working stuff.
Do you ever collect Transformers, Tony?
No, I've got a couple. I've got Optimus Prime and Megatron up there, and I've got a couple of Dino bots, but they're not really my thing. I played with them a little bit in childhood, but I'm not a huge fan. Yeah.
I do like the modern Transformers. The articulation on them are outstanding. But so much so you need almost like have a science degree to actually understand how to transform them all. I brought one for my daughter. And it took me a while to figure out how to transform from truck to robot. But I've got it down to a fine art now, and she knows it far better. And she goes, "Look, Dad, look, he's got extra wings and can fly now." Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I did a foolish mistake when I showed her a video of Optimus Prime transforming by voice, and she wanted one of them. And I said, like, "Nah, sorry, honey, Daddy hasn't got the money for that." And even if he has, he's not buying it for you. Yeah, he's not buying it for you.
Yeah,
I am Optimus Prime. See, with me, I'll just fake it out. I am Optimus Prime.
So I'm going to call this quits. I'm going to thank Tony for coming on board. I'll love to have you back on the channel sooner or later. I've got an idea which I'll probably discuss with you after this, mate, and see if you'll be keen.
Yep.
Cool. So I want to thank Tony. Thank you so much, buddy. Thank the audience. Thank you, the people who are watching, and he's listening. That's good. Oh, Brent's listening. That's good. Thank the audience for turning up. And let's do a few plugs or shout outs. So, guest of honor, could you go first?
What plug in what? My channel?
Yeah. Oh well, I was going to plug in your channel because I'll show you. So a plug or a shout out. So I'm going to shout out to you. Everyone, please watch Tony's from Analog Toys. It's a fantastic channel. He's got a wealth of knowledge. I mean, a wealth of knowledge about the history of Action Man. And even not only Action Man, G.I. Joe. You did the A-Team and Knight Rider. Now that was
I've done those videos recently. Yeah.
Got a few masks.
That was really cool.
I like your mask ones you did.
Thanks,
you
man.
got masks?
Yes. Yeah, mask.
I know you...
Come on,
bro. I know. It's you've been doing this for 7 years. I must admit.
Sorry, Tony. I've been watching your stuff. I've got your back. I've got this big pitch. I've got this big thing in my on spare room with a big picture thing, and it's it's on the wall. And I've been watching Tony stuff like. Ooh,
oh, you got a projector, bro. Yeah,
projector. Yeah, I got myself a projector. So I've been watching your stuff up there, and actually, you've been making me want. Man, I've got an itch. I can't. The itch, man. It's like Action Man. I want to get my Action Man from when I was a teenage years back. I'm like,
do it, bro. Do it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna do, bro. I know you're the Cobra Pit. I'm going to hunt down the parts to make another Cobra Viper for you, and I'll give that to you.
Oh, yes. Well, you know it's my number one favorite.
Yeah.
I'm going to look for. Hopefully,
you are the master of all evil.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to plug out to Tony. Tony's channel. I also going to plug out to the Cobra Pit. He hasn't got much, but he's got some more coming up. Lilith, thank you so much. She says, hit that. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, people, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for all these wonderful channels. Bro, what have you got, mate? What's your plugs? Or
actually,
whatever.
I had a plug, but I kind of already said it accidentally. I have to thank a Facebook message from Aaron about Shark Eyes. He introduced me to those what's it called? Classic collectibles. And
I mean, with
the old, that's it. Sorry, Alzheimer's. I was having too much fun shutting you out early on before. Okay, no, Vicky, he got me like really amazed how the quality is. So there's two guys I'm gonna have to say it's got me wanting to get into, and it's you, Tony, with the Action Man, and it was about the showing me more of these collections. Pity about the weaponries, but you know, if you put a heat gun to it, people fix it up. But no, both you guys, both you and Tony, and good videos. You guys narrate it beautifully. I'm going to say something.
Thanks,
your voice, and you guys go into details where I love it. And bro, I like your MacGyver stuff. Keep it up. Yeah, I'm going to be trying to do some building, guys. I won't promise good quality, but I'll promise good laughs. When I build, it's going to be a laugh a minute. It's going to be dull, but if this, it's going to be like shit. I'll be like, cut my finger off. Fuck, doing that sort of shit. So be more comical into it. But I'll give my best shot. So that's me.
So that's what we talk about, like plugs and all that, Tony. Like we basically plug out other channels or TV shows that you're watching. I mean,
I'm not really watching anything on the TV at the moment, but if I'm going to put a plug out there, it's got to be to the 3POA podcast, the podcast that I helped form. I don't. I've had to take a bit of a back seat from the podcast this year. I was on an episode a little while ago after about a 6-month break, but looking to do some more appearances. But one of my favorite channels to watch. When you come up with this idea and you develop a podcast and then you see it grow into its own channel and be super successful. I've got to shout out to the 3POA podcast and my buddies Bobby and Ryan. So
that's cool.
always looking forward to the next episode of that show.
Yeah. I'm also going to do another shout out to Chad. Thanks, Chad, for giving out that super sticker, mate. That means the world to me. I've just sort of become semi-monetized this year. I'm not fully, so I've got memberships and all that, which I'm still learning. Like, I always thought that YouTube would just be a bit of fun, and then I didn't realize that when you get to like monetize, you got to treat it like a mini business.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure if I really want to do that. It really blows me away, actually.
It's painful at I just did my tax the other day. It's painful at tax time, and it's there's when you go to set it up as a business, there are all of a sudden all these additional expenses you never knew you were going to have, like, you know, with your accounting fees and getting registered as a business, and then a yearly registration fee to the Australian Securities and Investment Commission or whatever the hell it is, and it can be a bit of a headache, but
but you don't have to be monetized. You can say no.
Yeah, you can say no.
Because if I ever get the situation I get that good, I'll say no. Because I've got a main job.
Yeah.
I don't need it hassles.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like our t-shirts, bro. Like, we've got the t-shirts, but how I do it, because I've been burned a couple of times. When people are interested in the t-shirt, and I've sold them quite a few here in New Zealand, I'll say, like, okay, money up front, and then I'll send the t-shirt up to you. I don't want to say, like, I'll order one of these, and then boom, you just lost money because someone said they'll grab the t-shirt off you.
Yeah.
Love the text, man, so much. Thanks, Mr. RA. RS.
RS. Yeah.
I said RRA, didn't I? Oh, my bad.
Oh, I know this is a bit late, but here's another plug. Sad news, guys. From a legendary wrestler passed away, Sid Vicious.
Yeah, mate. 68.
My chiropractic stream does do wrestling, cobras, and judo, so I have to pick that out. Sad moment.
Do that tomorrow, bro.
Oh, well, actually,
no, you're busy,
tomorrow I'm planning to do my first sort of work on my cobra net, so I'll probably be busy doing that.
Fair enough, bro. Fair enough. Okay, well, everybody, I'm going to say thank you so much. Thank you, Tony, mate. That was an absolute legend for coming on, especially on Father's Day. You know, that means a lot to me. You know, I'm pretty sure my dad up there will be smiling down on us and having a bit of a good old laugh. Yeah. Oh, nice. That's cool.
Jay Bartlett in his Versus series, Yeah,
that's cool. That's cool. I love Jay Bartlett. Yeah. So anyway, I will call us quits. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Play the music, bro.